Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and there's a little snow on the ground, but not much. I thought they made it sound like it was going to be.
Well, I think there might be more coming.
Oh, okay.
But today's Tuesday, and it is a little bit of snow out there. It's very pretty. It's a little soggier than I like my snow.
Yeah,
I like it to be cold and lots of it. But, I'll take a dusting and some rain.
A dusting of snow and some rain. Welcome to Beth Cooper's world.
Oh, shoot. But anyway, man. Yeah. So yesterday was my birthday.
Yes. Did you get any presents?
I did get presents, yes. And it was a good day. I worked all day. But, I got some money for some things I was wanting to buy.
Money's always good.
And money is good. And I got I'm into the porch goose. Do you know about the
porch goose to me? Because it's super cute.
The porch goose phase. Okay, so many of you probably remember the porch goose thing from the late 80s, early 90s, where your grandmas had a porch goose, concrete goose, and she might dress it up, put a little dress on it. A lot of people had two, a boy goose and a girl goose, and they would dress them. And the porch goose, my grandma always had a porch goose. Always thought it was adorable. Now I have a nice porch, and I thought, you know what? I'd like to have a porch goose. So I asked for one for Christmas, and I got it. And my mom and dad got it for me. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Is it heavy concrete?
Mine's plastic. Mine's plastic, and we filled it with sand. Cuter than the concrete ones, because concrete ones, you have to paint them, you have to seal them. It's a lot of work. The plastic ones are super cute. So we filled it with sand, and she's dressed, and she's adorable on my porch. But I didn't realize that it was like a whole movement coming back into this world. Like, people are crazy about porch geese. And yeah, so
porch gooses are real.
Yeah. So right after, like, I had done a lot of searching on like porch goose outfit and stuff like that on Amazon to see what was out there. Well, there's a ton of outfit options out there. And then since I like, once you search something, your algorithm starts showing you more things. So then I was invited on Facebook to be a member of the Porch Goose Club of America, which of course I joined because why not, right? And it's all these people that are just totally ate up with the porch goose movement. And then they started sharing pictures of like all these other geese that you can buy. Like the desk goose. So now I also own a little 7-inch goose that sits on my desk that you can also dress.
Maybe, by the way, with Beth and Stacey needs a desk goose.
Oh my gosh, we do.
We can get one to stand right here and just change her for whatever. Because it's February, so we're Valentining it out today with all the red and pink.
Well,
and stuff.
The desk goose is only 7 inches, so she's only like that big.
Well, she could sit right in front of our stuff.
Oh, she could be our new mascot. We had a mascot at one time and it left. Gnomes. Yeah.
We bring the gnomes out in spring.
Okay.
They're sleeping. They're
hibernating. Well, anyway, so I was like super into geese all of a sudden. And I didn't realize that it was a really big thing, but ever since Christmas, most of the geese in the United States are sold out everywhere. Like the ones on Amazon sold out. Joann Fabric occasionally will have some on their shelves. They're pretty much sold out. You can order them off their website, but then a week later you get an email that says your order's been canceled. Like, all of these people on this Facebook page are talking about how hard it is to find a goose. So this page has turned into a thing where people are like, concrete goose spotted at the corner of 161 and 50 in Salem, Illinois. And people would be like, okay, I'm about 4 hours from there. I'm going to leave now. People will drive hours to find a porch goose because they're so hard to find. This one lady, she was from like the Northeast, like New York, Connecticut, somewhere like that. And she heard there was a bunch of concrete geese in Florida for sale. She would have taken a plastic one too, but she couldn't find one of those anywhere. She drove to Florida. She was going to go to Florida on vacation anyway. So she went ahead and went. And she drove through like a huge chunk of the state, just mainly looking for a goose to take
then
back.
What did she
and
do?
She never did find one.
Really?
That, I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing.
Tell Bullards out there, they'll be having geese.
Well, I before Christmas, before my mom ordered the one that I got, I drove through there just to see if they had one. They do not.
They do not have one.
Unless they got one in. Yeah, they're It's like a hot
It is
commodity.
super cute. I remember.
So,
I can't. I either had a great aunt or somebody had a porch.
Uh-huh.
She just put a little bonnet on it all the time and just changed it up all the time. They're super cute.
During commercial break, I'll send Ty a picture of my goose outfits. We can show them.
Yeah, they're super cute.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, see,
I don't know how we got. Oh, back to my birthday present.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, how do we get on that? Malia and Alex got me the cutest little goose plug-in, like an air freshener plug-in from Bath and Body Works. That is a goose holding an umbrella. It's so stinking cute.
I almost picked that up for my camper the other day.
Oh yeah,
that's a cute one. Yeah, yep. I love those that light up. I like those.
Yeah, it's adorable. Yeah. So that's just an example of what I got for my birthday.
So what I got for my camper was, instead of the goose, it was like the big thing. It looks like a big old honking diamond.
Oh, nice.
I like my jewels. So.
Yeah, me too.
Big old diamond. So that was, but yeah, that goose, that goose one was cute. But yeah. So what else?
What else has been going on? Oh,
Silas and Krista don't have jobs.
Nope. Silas and Krista are at home, and they are just, ready for spring and summer. I think Krista's getting ready to run track.
Oh yeah,
and
track's
she
good.
is, got her. What are they called? They're not cleats. What are they? There's another name for those, right?
Track
that they
shoes?
run in track shoes. I don't know. She's been getting everything gathered up and ready.
Yeah, she's
excited about that. And
yeah.
That's
interesting, though. It's funny, though. I'm just going to say one thing about your goose. Your neighbors are going to hate you.
Why?
Because the traffic. Because I'm going to put out there that there's one on 7th. Because your street's going to be like a parade.
Oh, my neighbors all love me. Well, except for one. She doesn't. But we won't talk about her. Everyone else loves me. But
unless there's like 50 cars coming by taking pictures of your geese.
Yeah.
Or your goose.
I thought she might. I even thought about, if they weren't so hard to get, I would probably get another one and give her, have two, a boy and a girl. Because you can do
it'll calm down and you'll be able to get one.
You can get cute matching outfits and stuff. But
yeah, well, I'm like.
Yeah, her name is Gladys.
Yeah. I'm a weird person, though, because when we went out to, when we took that Route 66 and we ended up in Roswell, I wanted an alien. I've got an alien with a peace sign holding an American flag on my back porch. I love Sasquatch. Last year, Jim got me a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So me and Jim and Jack and JoJo painted Bigfoot. Bigfoot's like right in my front.
Yeah, he's right there in front.
He's right there in front. Oh, yeah, the kids love it.
I saw a really cute one the other day that was a dinosaur, not like a T-Rex or anything, but like a brontosaurus with the really long neck.
Oh, that's
And
fun.
I thought that's super cute. And if you painted that and put it kind of back behind a bush.
Oh, they're adorable,
and then where it was just barely visible, it was like, oh gosh, there's a dinosaur back there. I think that's super cute.
Well, we started a while back buying, because the kids get bored sometimes, and on a rainy day. So the very first thing was about a concrete turtle, just a small and me and the kids painted it. So it's on the back porch, and then they're like, yeah, what we gonna? So it's almost once a month in the summertime.
You paint something,
and then we went back out to Bullard's, and last night we got a frog. So we painted a frog, and it's like the turtle's and it doesn't look like it looks like a turtle, but it's every color of paint they had. And then we did the same thing with the frog. The main part of the frog is green, but then it had little dots on it.
Oh, that's
They're
cute.
all different colors.
I want to do that.
So we sit them around. They're outside, one's right on the back porch.
I've seen the turtle, but I don't remember the frog.
The frog's if you go to the east of the pool, it's right there. You probably just haven't been, and it sits. So I don't know. And then we painted Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And my Sasquatch is it's brown and black and stuff, but it has pink lips.
Oh.
Sasquatch has pink lipstick on. Because, Joanna.
It's a female Sasquatch.
It's a female Sasquatch, and she needed pink lips.
Oh, of course she did.
JoJo's obsessed. Oh, my gosh, that girl. She's a girly girl.
Well, I bought fake eyelashes for Gladys the goose.
Did you? How are you going to put them on?
Super glue.
Super glue?
Super glue her lashes on.
Now, does she sit under the porch?
She does. She's kind of covered. I have her closer to the steps. She gets a little bit of moisture, but not much.
Okay, so I picked out an ad today, and I picked it out of that Look magazine. Do you remember when you could buy Cracker Barrel cheese?
Yes, you still can.
You can?
At our Walmart, they sell Cracker Barrel cheese already sliced.
Well, I found an ad from 1960.
Oh, my gosh. I think you mean a different cracker. Is that the real Cracker Barrel?
I don't know. The big
been around
cheese.
That long?
Look at that. The big cheese for pies.
That looks like their same font and everything.
It does, right? Yeah, Cracker Barrel cheese.
The big cheese for pies. Who puts cheese in their pie?
I don't know. Some people don't they put cheese on top of pies?
I don't know.
But see, it says Cracker Barrel brand from Kraft. Yeah, it says big flavor. You get precisely the cheddar you want for pies because every stick of and wedge of Cracker Barrel brand is accurately marked sharp, extra sharp, or mellow. There's no guessing. Big freshness. Kraft's double strength aluminum foil assures just cut freshness right down to the last morsel. Big enjoyment. A great natural cheddar with pie for cooking or simply to enjoy all by itself. More than good cheese, it's a very real pleasure. That's Cracker Barrel. I mean,
yeah, interesting. So I wonder, like, when Cracker Barrel restaurant began. Ty, would you Google that, please? Okay, Abby's on that. 1960 they started.
1960 what?
9.
This was the JFK Mac. Well, he was already gone. I'll have to check because what year was because this is out of that look, and it's the one all about JFK, but he was already assassinated. So maybe this is like right off the bat. Maybe this is 69.
So Kraft owns Cracker Barrel. Do you think they own the Cracker Barrel franchise restaurant?
I don't know. I doubt it. I love Cracker
Abby's
Barrel.
on it.
Abby's on it. I love Cracker Barrel.
Oh man, I love Cracker Barrel too. What do you order when you go there?
Craziest thing. I mean, I don't think I've ever had anything else but the same. I get the same thing all the time. Right? I'm a weird eater. Country fried steak, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, and dumplings.
Well, I try more than one thing, but
I never have.
For a long. I get stuck on one thing though, and so like for years I'll only order that thing, and then occasionally I'll venture out. But their roast beef used to be amazing good, but the last few times I've ordered it, it's been super fatty, so I try not to order it anymore. But I also get the dumplings. Yep. I get the hash brown casserole.
Oh, it's good too.
The carrots.
Yep, never had them.
Oh, they're amazing. The fried okra.
Never had it.
Out of this world. Amazing. And grilled sourdough is what I get instead of biscuits. Or, they say, do you want biscuits or cornbread with that? And I say no. This isn't on the menu, by the way. This is a secret hack to Cracker Barrel. So pay attention. When they say, do you want biscuits or cornbread? You say, no, thank you. I'd like to have grilled sourdough.
Really?
Yeah. And
never had it.
Oh, my gosh, it's amazing. They bring out these slices of grilled sourdough that are like buttered.
Yeah.
And just a tiny bit salty. So good.
Yeah, because I get biscuits because I never make biscuits because I will eat biscuits all day long. But that's literally when I go to Cracker Barrel, unless it's breakfast time, then I get pancakes, and then I always get pancakes. And
Silas gets pancakes pretty much, doesn't matter what time of day we're there. He'll always order the pancakes.
Country fried steak, mashed potatoes, green beans, dumplings, and then every once in a while, if I'm really feeling adventure, I'll order the hash brown cow. That's the only, and besides their pancakes and biscuits and gravy, that's the only thing I've ever eaten at Cracker Barrel.
Well, I'm glad you like it a lot, but you are kind of missing out a little bit.
I do. I'm weird though.
I know you are.
It's weird. I'm a weird eater.
I can be like that too, though. Like
I never venture out.
I have restaurants where I don't venture out and I stick to what I like because I'm usually hungry for that by the time I get back to that restaurant because I don't eat out like all the time.
Here's how I venture out. If I do venture out, Jim's like, what do you want? What do you want to try different? Well, I'm going to try this. Okay, so do you want me to order your usual in case you don't like the new stuff? So that's how I venture out.
He is so good to you. He is so good to you.
So he orders what I normally would want.
And then
I eat that, and then if I don't like it, then we swap.
And then how often do you trade? Like how many times?
Not very often.
You usually like what you did order?
Because I'm just weird.
Okay. That works.
Well, we got to take. Who's going for? What are we doing today?
I'm going to talk about a lady named Pauline Colborn.
I want to hear about this lady. I've never heard about her.
Okay. We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
By the way, with Beth and Stacey. So during the commercial break, Ty was kind enough to Google a little bit more about Cracker Barrel, and they're not owned by Kraft or anything like that. They're their own corporation, but Kraft did manufacture Cracker Barrel branded cheese in the 60s.
There you go.
So there you go. But
Question answered.
the other question I have is that was that a thing to eat cheese with pie? And I missed.
I don't know.
I missed that.
We'll have to ask your mom.
Yeah.
I know apple pie is popular to put a slice of cheese on.
It's popular
Yeah.
to put a slice of cheese on top of
I wonder
apple
if
pie.
any- yeah.
Maybe they work together, the
Have
flavors.
you ever done that though?
I've never done that.
I've never done that, but I have known people that do the cheddar cheese.
Okay.
Cheddar cheese on top of apple pie.
Well, there must be something to it then.
I personally like mine with ice cream because it's a lot less healthy.
Yeah, I like mine with ice cream too. For sure.
I like a la mode.
Or even a dollop of Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like fruit pies, but I have to have ice cream in order to eat them.
Oh,
Otherwise, I don't want them.
okay.
I'm weird.
Okay, so I was also talking about my porch goose, and I sent Ty a picture. So this is Gladys dressed for Valentine's Day. How cute is she? Now, I will say that there are lots of geese outfits on Amazon and other websites that are for sale that you can buy
Did
for
you
your
steal
geese.
Chris's shirt?
They are. Let me finish. And they are usually $30 to $40 per outfit,
Yikes.
which seems a little pricey for Gladys. She's a little frugal. So we decided not to do that route. And instead, I buy all of her outfits at Country Closet. She wears a size 2T toddler. And then I also got the headband and the little, looks like a purse, but it's just a little decoration that she's holding as a purse.
Oh my God.
For Gladys, and she didn't come with arms, but
I was just getting ready to say that. Does she
but
come with arms?
I made her some arms, some posable arms out of some wire and some fabric. So now she can hold her purse. And how cute is she?
She is adorable.
Okay, let's see another picture of Gladys.
Oh,
This was her dress for New Year's Eve because it was very cold. It was getting ready to snow, if you remember, in New Year's, and so she was all dressed up for New Year's. This is kind of a side picture, so not quite as good. And then she had another outfit that I got for Christmas with her umbrella.
That's my favorite.
And it was very rainy right after Christmas, if you remember that. It rained for a week or two.
yes, because Gladys is not under the porch. She's where everybody can see her, correct?
Well, she is, but that is covered there.
Oh, okay.
It is covered, but she does get some moisture on her. So, yeah, she definitely needed her umbrella.
How? That's
So anyway,
cute.
that's Gladys. Okay.
You know, what a marketing tool. Why didn't we think of this?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Like,
Come on.
the other thing is people are always asking online, like, where they can buy cheaper clothes and where they can buy a pattern to make the clothes. But, like, none of those patterns have been around since, like, the 80s. So if I had the time, like, I could make a whole bunch of patterns. And so I don't have the time. But somebody should.
Somebody should.
Yeah. Okay.
Who are we talking about today?
We're talking about a woman named Pauline Colborn. Now, Pauline was from Flora, and she was sounds like a pretty amazing woman. She was a editor at the Flora Daily News for years, and she was born in 1900, and she passed away, I believe, in 1985.
Really?
And so she just think about like all of the changes like between 1900
Oh, big.
and 1985. Like she saw so much. But so what she did in the Flora Daily News is that she wrote history. I mean, she had some like rambling stuff too, like just thoughts, but she wrote a lot of local history. So she was kind of the I don't know.
Predecessor. It's predecessor, isn't it?
Predecessor
Is that the word? Predecessor.
to Rena Lynch Thomas. So
Right.
Rena in my lifetime was the one that wrote all the history for the paper. But prior to Rena, there was this woman named Pauline Colborn. And Pauline was a pretty interesting woman, but I have some of her articles. I'm going to talk about a topic that she wrote about too that I haven't covered, that is about poor houses and poor farms.
Yeah.
We'll go into that in a minute
Okay,
because she
so
writes about that. But
where
let's
did you
talk about
find
her for a
these
hot
at?
minute. So
Yeah, because
Don Thomas.
Don had 'em? Okay.
Yes, and thank you, Don. And I haven't forgot that I need to return this book. But I've had it in my pile of things to read, and he gave me this big pile of stuff written by Pauline Colborn, and so I started reading some of that, and there was some things I want to talk about on future shows from that book, but also I was like intrigued by her. Like let's just talk about her for a moment. So,
Right.
I have a couple pictures of Pauline. Ty, let's see if you can find one of those. But she was very funny. She only had one child, or she had two kids, a boy and a girl. The boy has passed away, but I didn't find any record on the girl. So I think that she might still be alive, and who knows, maybe she's going to watch
maybe
this.
she might.
But that's Pauline. She's sitting at a typewriter. And I think that she just looks so sweet.
She does
and
look
then,
sweet.
let me see. I have one article.
Yeah, she looks like a sweet little lady.
Yes, but she's kind of funny. I might just
Just read it.
read a little bit
read
about
about
what
it.
she wrote. I'm trying to see. This when she starts off. Her column was called "I Remember." I wonder if Lawrence Welk will read this column. At least he has stolen, and part of this is cut off of this copy, so I might skip a word. He has stolen my thunder. The other night, preceding his traditional a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, he wished everybody happy memories. Then, to add insult to injury, one of the numbers played and sung by the group was "You've Got to Be a Football Hero." Everyone who knows Bob Colborn and the song will get the significance. That reminds me of a little story about my children. My daughter Margaret was more than 4 years old when her brother Bob was born, and she didn't like sharing the spotlight with anyone. When Bob was awake, she stayed right there with him, but when he was asleep, she would sneak out of the house and run off to her grandmother Colborn's. One morning, after a hectic hour, Bob fell asleep, and when my back was turned momentarily, his sister left home and headed for her grandmother's. About halfway there, this is in Florida, so this little 4-year-old just took off when Mom wasn't looking and headed down the sidewalk. And about halfway there, she met Dr. W.J. Jane, Jayne. I don't think we've talked about that doctor. But anyway, she knew him quite well. Dr. Jane had a name for everyone, and I couldn't even begin to spell what he called Margaret. But using that name, he told her, "If you don't go back home, I'll go there and steal your baby brother." She turned around, put her hand in his, and with confidence replied, "Oh, you don't need to do that. Just come on home with me and I'll give him to you." Such a funny thing to say. So
That is a funny thing to say.
So then she says, now that gives me an idea for a future column. Make it completely personal about my immediate family. But maybe that's not such a darn good idea. Jack and Roland might fire me, and another firing I couldn't take, so I'll stick to other things.
Jack Thatcher
and Roland Gill is who she worked for. So she goes on to talk a little bit about the St. Louis Flora / ball game in this column, and we've covered that in another episode, I believe, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah. So I think we have another picture of Pauline that I might have sent in that I like a lot. Let's look at that one. Yeah. How cute is she?
Yeah.
Like, I just like, she really looks like a serious writer there,
She
doesn't
does.
she? Like,
she really does.
Like, this one looks like something that should be like on the back of a novel or something.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I don't know. Okay. So,
I remember.
Okay, so-
I would love to have everyone she ever wrote.
well, I do.
You have them all?
I have a lot.
Good.
Okay. So, I remember this one I thought was interesting, and we have talked a little bit about this topic before, but this is from Pauline's words and Pauline's memories, which is different. She's going to reflect on the town of Flora, the downtown area, the buildings that are there, and how she remembers them.
Okay.
So we're going to go through some names that are going to sound familiar and a few that I haven't heard mentioned.
Okay.
Okay.
I better get my handy dandy paper out here so I can write down things if we don't hear them.
I remember when Flora, with about 2/3 of its present population, was a town of mud streets in the winter, dust in the summer, brick sidewalks, outside plumbing, and water from the wells. So just stop right there.
Yeah, just think.
Do any of it? I mean, Flora with mud streets. I mean, she's talking way back in the early 1900s here.
She is. Mm-hmm. I've seen pictures of that, and it's,
Yeah. I mean, we
brick
don't
sidewalks,
think
though.
brick sidewalks.
I wonder if those are underneath all the sidewalks we have now.
I bet they are, honestly.
I bet they are, too, because I love still traveling on the brick road there. Back
Yes,
down to Dairy Queen, by the depot.
Dusty streets in the summer and mud in the winter, which had to be terrible both seasons, honestly. Clay City and Louisville were neat, clean, and active villages, accessible from Flora by train. Like, let me just hop on the train and go to Clay City. Like, you just don't think about that.
Think about that.
But that's how they traveled back and forth to the other towns. Then there was Sailor Springs.
Yes.
Your favorite.
My favorite.
Noted for its health-giving waters and grand hotel. Ingraham and Bible Grove, both self-supporting and affluent for that era. So even these little bitty towns were affluent.
They were affluent.
Okay? Today, no. Today, however, let's concentrate on Flora as it was in the early 1900s before radio and television, and when 25 cents would buy a loaf of bread and enough meat for a family of 4. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking early 1900s. Doctors made house calls, babies were born in their homes, and one didn't need an appointment to visit a dentist. The business district, located on the 100 and 200 block of East and West North Avenue, was known as Main Street before the city streets were officially named. So that's North Avenue, as we know it. But
we
to
need
them,
to take a commercial break.
Oh gosh, that went
We're going
fast.
to come back because I
We'll
have
be
a
right
question
back.
about why that changed.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We're talking about Pauline Colborn and her memories of how Flora looked and felt in the early 1900s. And so your question right before break was about Main Street versus North Avenue and why it is the way it is.
And we did talk about this one time. We were talking about the depot.
Yes. So she's talking about that North Avenue used to be called Main Street, and I think it did. But I think whenever they built the depot in 1917. Although there was a depot there before that. I think it was around this time that they decided that the street that we know as North Avenue should be North Avenue because the people that came to the train station, the depot, were told, this is because it would be 1 block north of the depot, or right in front of the depot. Like this is North Avenue because you're going to leave the depot and go north.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the street that we know as Main Street, was like the main street, like where the hospital was. 'Cause the hospital used to sit on Main Street, on the corner.
What is that corner right there?
9th or 10th and Main.
Yeah.
There's a house there now. Calvin Booth built
Calvin
years
Booth
ago.
lived in that. Yeah, in that
Brenda
house.
Brenda Ruckman lives there
Yeah.
now, but
Well, and
that
then-
lot used to be the original hospital.
That used to be the original hospital.
Okay, so that's
Right,
why it is
basically
the
right
way
on
it
the
is.
curve across from Norma Stanford's house. Yeah, Calvin's house is the house he built.
Okay, so this is where we were. The business district located on the 100 and 200 block of East and West North Avenue was known as Main Street before the city's streets were officially named. Supermarkets and neighborhood groceries were as unfamiliar to people then as were space flights and moonwalks. So the early 1900s, they didn't even have supermarkets. Is that what she means?
I feel
Or
like
as
it's
unfamiliar?
unfamiliar. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, the supermarkets, it would have been mom and pop stores back then,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And she says supermarkets and neighborhood groceries. So everybody just had a garden and a cow, or what?
Could
I guess
be.
so.
don't know.
I mean, she's going way back. Okay, among businesses on the south side of the first block of West North Avenue. Okay, so the south side, let's talk about where that is for people that don't do south and north. Okay, the south side of the first block of North Avenue, that would be kind of where Tangles is
Tangles is
now,
at, yep.
where,
Pip
you
and
know,
Kate.
kind of just a little bit down from the Dairy Queen.
Yep, just right down from the Dairy Queen.
Okay. Those stores were Stanford's clothing store. Now, when she's writing this, remember this is the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
She says now the Country Squire. That was
Oh, she's
later.
going back the opposite way.
Oh yeah, she started at the corner.
She started on the corner.
She started
yeah.
on the corner. So
Yeah.
Country Squire was where Glitzy
where
Girls,
Glitzy Girls
is
is at,
now.
yeah.
So when she remembers this from the early 1900s, that was called Stanford's Clothing Store.
Yes.
And then next was the Flora Journal, published by B.M. Maxey. Yeck Brothers, Walter and E.D. or Uncle Fay Yeck. So the Yeck Brothers, we've talked about Uncle Fay Yeck as he was the fire chief
fire
for
chief,
years and years.
yeah.
We've had an entire show about him. He was a really cool guy. But apparently they also ran a business called Yeck Brothers. Not sure what they sold, but interesting. And then she says that's now operated by Randall Wolf and then next to that was Cunningham's Bookstore, later a gift shop. Now, I would be down with having a bookstore downtown.
Yeah.
Can we bring that back? And along with Mr. Cunningham. Remember that one?
I do, the jeweler.
The jeweler, Mr. Cunningham.
Oh,
we
boy.
talked about him
He
on the
was
episode. He is a hottie. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the north side of this block, so we are starting, I think, where Wiley Realty is.
Yep,
Okay.
that would be where we're at.
And we're going toward
That was that hotel, wasn't it?
like Dairy Queen. Yes, that was the Worthington Hotel. That whole building was a hotel.
Oh man, yeah.
I wish we could see it in that glory today.
Oh gosh,
It needs
yeah, 'cause it had the beautiful
windows
dining.
put back
I
in.
think we did do an episode on that. Remember the pictures of the inside dining room?
I do. I remember that
we
now.
did an
That's been a while.
episode on.
Okay, then Meyer Drug, then Meyer Grocery, and Meyer Dry Goods Stores.
So Myers was big.
Okay. Then this one, when I read this, I'm like, oh my word, I want to go there.
I want to go there.
The M&M Bakery.
Huh?
First of all, I love bakeries. I also love M&Ms. I don't think that's why it was called that, but it was called the M&M Bakery. Then there was Jake Mann's Ice Cream Parlor.
Really?
I would also
Now wait a minute. Didn't we do an episode on the Mans too?
I don't remember an ice cream parlor being talked about. I think that would have stuck out to me.
Mans ice
So,
cream.
just picture
I'm
this.
just taking notes as we go.
In that
because-
block, and this is the block, like this is kind of where the gym is,
Yeah.
okay, and then working its way down would be Jake Mann's Ice Cream Parlor. Next to that was the M&M Bakery on one side, and then the other side was Sam Chorva's Candy Kitchen.
That side of the
They're
street
all
had it
three
going
in a
on.
row. Guess where Stacey and I would be hanging out if we were downtown Flora in 1900s.
Oh, right there.
Early 1900s, we would be.
Mother, I need a penny. I need a ice cream.
Okay, then next to that was something called Ward's Barbershop. Next to that was a Nickelodeon, and she doesn't have that capitalized. It was just a Nickelodeon. Now, isn't the definite? Let's Google that, Ty. Get definition of Nickelodeon, so I have it right. Is just a jumble of stuff, I believe. just a variety store. And maybe she doesn't remember the name of it. She just says a Nickelodeon. And then finally, Dickerson's Junkyard was next in that block.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if
I
any
wonder
of you
if
out there
Dickerson's
remember anything
Junkyard-
about any of that.
Dickerson's Junkyard would have been kind of like today's antique store, you think?
Yeah, I wonder. Or if it was used.
A Nickelodeon is just a movie theater you can get in for a nickel.
Yeah.
Oh, that would make sense. A Nickelodeon is a movie theater you can get in for a nickel, which is where the Opera House was. That later, that would be the same location. That would be the Orpheum Theater.
Orpheum
That's what
Theater.
she's talking about. Orpheum Theater.
Yeah.
Because it was in that block.
Yep. I was just getting ready to say the Orpheum Theater was right there on the
She just didn't remember the name of it, I bet. So she just called it a Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that would have set where Stanford Marketing's at
So,
now.
yeah, I just wonder if any of our viewers remember their parents
I love
talking about this.
reminiscing
Because there
about
wouldn't be
downtown
anybody,
Flora.
there wouldn't be anybody alive today that was
No.
alive then. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear if they remember their parents talking about the way it was. Okay. In the 100 block east,
Hey, here we go.
so we're going to start with the north side, I guess. She doesn't
Okay.
say that, but there was the bank.
Yep, thank
But it was a small building where the modern new First National Bank now stands. So it was a tiny building there. Well, not the building that's there now. Then there was Dale Mann and Company Dry Goods,
Yep.
a forerunner to Mann's Shoe Store. Then there was Prince's Drugstore,
Yep.
Arbuthnot Store, Throgmorton Drugstore.
Lots of drugstores.
Yes. So you got drugs at one end of town, sweets at the other. Basically.
Go get your sweets, then go get your insulin killer.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, across the street and west of its present location was John Ulrich's shoe repair shop. The post office later moved to North Main Street and then to its present location. And Hodges grocery store, a meat market, a harness shop, and on the southwest corner, the Keen Cutter hardware store, owned and operated by the late J. Bowman, father of Mrs. Mary Meyer and Mrs. Leo Allen of Florida. Now, we've had a whole episode on that, on the Bowmans and on the Keen Cutter hardware store.
Yep.
Actually, the name of the store was Bowman's Hardware, but they sold the Keen Cutter brand, and they had a big sign that said Keen Cutter. So technically, Pauline, that wasn't the name of the store.
That's right, where Phillips Park is at, right? Bowman's was right there on that corner. Yeah.
East of Bowman's, across the street, were E.D. Hancock's furniture store, the funeral home, and the family home, which occupied the lot where Bill's Cleaners is now located, which Bill's Cleaners is where the flower shop is now, right? Is that where, next to Albert's?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
What side is she on, the north or the south side of the street?
She said east of Bowman's across the street, so it would be.
It would be, yeah, right there where you're at, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because that would have been where Scudamore's, that empty lot right now that's a parking lot was where Scudamore's was at, correct?
Yep.
But Scudamore, she didn't mention them, so they're not there yet. Okay.
Early in the century, Mr. Hancock built a large new home on what is now East 6th Street, where he and Mrs. Hancock spent the remainder of their lives. Have we talked about the Hancocks and their home on East 6th?
The only way we talked about that was, did that come with Haskell's house? Hancock's?
Were they the Hancock?
Wasn't that the Hancock funeral home?
The funeral parlor was kept in its original location until Mr. Hancock was succeeded by his son, Edgar Hancock. The younger Mr. Hancock later moved the mortuary to the former Greenlaw Business College building on North Locust Street, where he continued to operate the business until its sale to Joe Cardascio about 10 years ago.
Yeah, so that would have been Greenlaw College right there. That's North Locust Street. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, because where Haskell lives, that was a funeral home. I mean, that was Hancock.
I just couldn't remember it being Hancock. Was that the name?
Gosh, I want to say it was, but I don't know.
Sometime in those early years, A.G. Gaddis was also a local funeral director. Haven't heard of him. A.G. Gaddis. You might write him down.
And what,
A.G. Gaddis, Gaddis. We'll look into him, too.
Yeah. Well, go back. What is the older Hancock's name? What does it say? She said she may not. Did she mention?
E.D. I think we have talked about them.
I don't know.
I'm telling you what, it all starts to run together a little bit.
Maybe not in detail, but
Okay.
I think we're going to do it.
Okay, E.D. Hancock, and then his son was Edgar.
Edgar.
Edgar D. Hancock. I'm afraid they were both named the same thing.
I think so.
Okay. She goes on to talk about funerals. She says she'll start off with one topic, but she'll kind of move on to another. I actually like that writing style. I think it's a lot like how we talk.
We're like
she's chasing rabbits a little bit of rambling, but it's so human, and you really feel like a connection to her as a writer because she's very, you can identify with her.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of funerals, brings to mind the horse-drawn, ornately decorated black hearses, which morticians used at that time to carry the dead to their final resting places. Okay, let me stop there and say, I just happened to have a conversation with Ryan Muskoff about this very thing this past week. Those are available still if that's what you prefer. You can there's one that can be rented from St. Louis, and they bring it over.
Whenever,
there's a few local people that have used it.
Yeah, when the Clay City boy died.
Youngsters would run several blocks to stand in awe as the cortege, I don't know this word, looks very French, past a given point, and usually ended up with a spanking for leaving their homes without permission. East of Hancock's were homes and assorted businesses, including a monument plant, Carr's Lumber Company, and a millinery shop run by Miss Della Gill, who was kept busy catering to Milady's desire for the latest creation in a hat. I love to talk about milliners. Would you also write down Miss Della Gill?
I just did.
I'm going to see if I can find anything out about her.
So
she's east of Hancock's, so that would be further down Main Street, probably close to maybe where Dr. Wilson's office is now. That block. On the north side of the street were Dr. C.E. Duncan's office and home, Dr. J.L. Boyle's office and home, A.E. Medley's Ford Garage, the first car dealership in Flora, with J.I. Hornbuckle as the mechanic in charge, Valbert's Feed Store, Carl McLaughlin's Hardware, and on the site, which is now a city parking lot, Scudamore Brothers Grocery and Dry Goods.
Yep.
So, yep.
Because she kind of brings them in.
She's kind of bringing them in.
Bringing them in, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to take a commercial break here. We need to talk about that farm.
Okay, yep, we'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me order lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So we have been having an interesting show reflecting on Flora's past, written by Pauline Colborn, and a short little blurb about
I like
her. She's a pretty cool chick, so we'll probably come back to some of her writings. But so this one article that she wrote was like really, I was intrigued by it. So I'm going to kind of go into this topic. It's not really her, but it has to do with Flora. So we're going to talk about poor houses or poor farms. Okay. So I think you've already probably, we have, I don't know about Abby and Ty, but have heard the saying, like, you're going to go to the poor house.
You're going to go to the poorhouse.
You're going to end up at the poorhouse. Well, Abby's like, no, never heard of it. Okay.
Oh, you've never heard that?
Okay, so this is like based in truth. So there really was something called the poorhouse. That was if you were in town. Now, if you lived out in the country, it was called a poor farm. Okay. Basically, they were nursing homes for people. Because
really?
Back then, there were not nursing homes. So if you were unable to care for yourself and you had money, well, sure, then you could just hire yourself someone to take care of you.
Right.
But if you were unable to care for yourself and didn't have family that was willing to care for you, and were poor, then what did you do?
Right.
No one, there weren't all these government services, home health and all this, none of that existed. It's just like, there you were living in a house and you couldn't feed yourself and couldn't take care of yourself. So they would send you to the poorhouse or to the poor farm.
Makes sense.
They also sent handicapped people there that were mentally handicapped, all different kinds of handicaps, especially if you didn't have any money. Now, there was like more options, I think. The more money you had, obviously, the more options you had. So it would be very sad to be very poor at this time and end up in a place like this. So, yes, Flora had a poor house. And yes, Clay County had a poor farm. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about poor farms in general. So this is in Pauline's words here. Persons with arthritis, rheumatism, and similar ailments have their own built-in weather forecasting systems. If the weather worsens, so does the pain. Even threatening weather brings added discomfort, and these signs are right 99% of the time.
I can almost say yes.
Oh, you know what? I might save some of this for another day. She's talking about weather predicting here. But where does she get into the poorhouses? Yeah, see, she rambles a little bit. Okay. For most people who become old, ill, or handicapped and had no money, for them it was the poorhouse or the poor farm, depending upon its location. Such places were frowned upon, although they shouldn't have been. Some people, or should I say many people, couldn't make it on their own then and can't today. If I remember correctly, there was a poorhouse in Flora at the east end of Vincennes Avenue. East end of Vincennes Avenue. That would be like out there by White City, by Carr Street, City. That area.
Yep.
However, I'm not. She's not positive that's right, or if that was just a figment of a kid's imagination. But that's what she remembers. She's saying this is where I remember it, and she's probably right because her remembrances that I've read have been spot on. There was a poor farm, or some people called it a county farm, located 2 miles west of Louisville in the 1920s. So that's where the poor farm was in the county. In July 1925, Chairman Steve Johnson and W.T. Cox of the County Farm Committee got busy and, quote, fixed up the house on the property. This house had 5 upstairs bedrooms and the entire first floor scrubbed and cleaned. A big bonfire was made of the rubbish carried out of the house. Then they supplied 6 new mattresses and 6 sets of new springs for the bedrooms. The roof of the building, which was leaking badly, was ordered repaired. The men decided to let the old barn stand for a while, then have it raised and rebuilt, the conclusion being that the frame was not substantial enough to be repaired. At that time, in 1925, there was 8 residents in the Louisville poor farm. All 8 of them were men, and all of them but 2 were very old. There was a man named Alva Potts who was the manager, and he was called a good official. But then this part's in quotes, apparently from the county board or whoever. He didn't know how to ask for anything. Okay, so he wasn't asking for a lot of help, but apparently they needed it. The roof was falling in. It leaked badly. All of these, there was apparently a lot of filth and nastiness that had to be hauled out and burned. They all needed new mattresses. I can't honestly imagine how bad it stunk in there. 8 men who were unable to care for themselves, with this one man maybe taking care of the whole property. It doesn't sound like a good situation. I'm saddened that so many people had to, not just in our town, I'm going to talk about other places as well, but people had to endure the conditions that they did. Also, let's see. Here she goes on another ramble, but I am going to mention this because it's cute. Also in July 1925, Ollie Mae Chaffin, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. H.B. Chaffin, found a turtle with the date 1905 carved on its back. Although the turtle's shell showed signs of much wear, the figure on its back appeared to have just been put there. So that was a really old turtle. Okay, so that is a little brief info about the poorhouse and poor farm that we had in Clay County. And then just kind of looking at poor houses and poor farms in general. They were all over the world. They were in England, Wales, Ireland, not in Scotland.
Really?
Some places called them a workhouse. And the people that lived there were expected to work. Poverty was seen as dishonorable. And a lot of times a workhouse could resemble a reformatory. It would often house whole families. And it could also be a penal labor regime. They were given manual work and they were subjected to physical punishment if they didn't do it. At many workhouses, men and women were split up with no communication between them. Basically, I've read a little bit about this. Families would come in because they had nowhere else to turn, nowhere else to eat, nowhere else to get any resources. They were put to work. The men were sent to one building, the women to another, and the children to a completely other. Even small children were not allowed any contact with their mother and father again. And they were put into these like dormitory situations with a bunch of other kids, and they were all mean to each other, and it was horrible, horrible. Okay, so in the United States, it was a little bit different, but poorhouses were most common during the 19th and early 20th centuries. They were often situated on grounds of a poor farm on which able-bodied residents were required to work. A poorhouse could even be part of the same economic complex as a prison farm and other penal or charitable public institutions. Poor farms were county or town-run residences where paupers, mainly elderly and disabled people, were supported at public expense. They were generally under the direction of one or more elected or appointed superintendents of the poor. Okay, so I sent in some pictures.
Yeah, because we got just a few minutes.
Yeah,
I want to see the pictures.
Let's take some look at some of the pictures real quick. Okay, this one is in Saline County. This is down at Harrisburg.
Wow,
it is on the National Historic Registry now. That's awesome. Was raised there. I do not know where this. It's on the corner of Feasel Street, but I honestly cannot picture it. Okay, let's go fast, Ty, because we're running out of time. This one, Ty, read the title to that one. This one's a men's one.
Male pauper barracks.
This is the barracks for men in one of the poorhouses. Not around here. This one was further away. I want to say New York. I don't remember. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one's in St. Louis.
Oh, geez.
This one was in St. Louis, Missouri. This was all the girls. This was the area for the girls. Now, I know you probably can't see well on your screen, but if we were to zoom in on those girls, many of them look mentally handicapped. There's 2 or 3 of them in wheelchairs. Definitely a sad situation, but I will say this, the adults in the room that are standing that look like they're in charge, they do look like nice people. So, I mean, I don't know, but very sad. Can you imagine sending your daughter to this just because
I cannot.
You had a handicapped child and that's what you had to do? Did I send in any more, Ty? Just those 3. Okay. Thank you for that.
That's crazy.
Yes. Crazy.
I never knew.
Yeah.
I never knew that saying.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it makes you wonder, the one on Vincennes Avenue here in Florida, like, who was there? How many people lived there? Who sent their family there? Was it just old people, or were they also sending handicapped children there?
Why is that building gone?
Yeah. We probably want it gone. It probably has too many bad memories. Okay, so that was a little bit of a Debbie Downer there at the end, but I mean, I don't like to talk about the bad part. I mean, I know you got to talk about the bad parts of history, but the way some of these people were treated and the way they separated families, I mean, that just puts a knife right through my heart.
Right.
But okay, let's end on something
changes.
Funny. Yes.
Everything changes.
Yes.
People do what they thought was best back in the day.
That's right.
That is true.
Okay, so.
It is crazy.
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. Something crazy, I'm sure. Hopefully I hope it makes me laugh. Read one that'll make me laugh.
Well, this one might do it.
Okay.
I think a new, different kind of bowling should be carpet bowling. It's just like regular bowling, only the lanes are carpet instead of wood. I don't know why we should do this, But my God, we've got to try something.
Okay.
Carpet bowling.
Made me laugh.
Carpet bowling.
Why does he think the way he thinks? We don't know, but
I
it
don't know,
does
but I
make us
love
laugh.
him. He's great.
Well, anyway, we're at the end of our show. But as always, you can find our episodes on YouTube. There are a couple episodes missing that I'm sad to say, so keep looking. Hopefully those will show up soon. If you don't see new episodes on our YouTube page under videos, check the live button. There are some there. And you can always find us on Wabash Catch TV, Channel 100. We're Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. and again at 3. And follow us and like us on Facebook.
That's so funny.
That wraps it up for today. So
That's
anyway,
it.
thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.